Welcome to Gone Fishing, a show diving into the cybersecurity threats that surround our highly connected lives. Every human is different. Every person has unique vulnerabilities that expose them to potentially successful social engineering. On this show, we'll discuss human vulnerability and how it relates to unique individuals. I'm Connor Swalm, CEO of FinSecurity, and welcome to Gone Fishing. Hey everyone, welcome back. I am Connor Swalm, the CEO of FinSecurity and the host of the Gone Fishing podcast, and I am joined once again by one of my best friends, Ray Orsini. I called you Raymond. I don't know if anyone else called you Raymond.
Am I in trouble? That's what my mom used to do. She'd like, Raymond Gregory Orsini Jr. And then I knew I was in trouble. Yeah.
So in our last show, we talked about what's kind of the state of, in your mind, the MSP industry. You've been a part of it for much longer than I have, at least. You've founded an MSP. You now OIT serves MSPs. Yep. MMN reports on MSPs. So if one person knows something about MSPs, it's probably Tom Lawrence. But I'll also put you.
I guarantee. Okay, I appreciate that. I was going to say Slagle, but yeah, okay. So wasn't Tom Lawrence on one of your previous episodes?
He was. And he'll probably be on many more episodes because I love chatting with him.
He's a good guy. Yeah.
He's a great guy. So a concept that was brand new to me when I started in this industry was how important community is to MSPs, how important it needs to be for the vendors and the partners that they work with, and even to an extent to their clients. So a question that I have that I pose to a bunch of folks is, what separates the bad from the good, the out of touch from the in touch vendors in regards to their concept of community and how they treat it? What's your perspective on that?
So yeah, as our good friend Slagle likes to say, I have opinions on this. And I apologize if you watched the last episode, because now it'll sound like name dropping. But I am a moderator of our MSP, largest MSP community on the planet. And I actively participate in probably every single other one too. The Facebook groups, MSP, IT Pool Party, MRU. And the reason I say that is because to me, community is everything. My LinkedIn profile even says champion for MSPs, because the community is what allows that to happen. It increases transparency. I think some of the problem with some of the vendors or the opportunity for improvement, as I like to say, the opportunity is that a lot of vendors look at community as just another marketing channel, right? How many look at social media as a marketing channel? How many look at, webinars as a marketing channel versus conversations that you're actually getting to know people and addressing serious concerns. But you're also a very active and supportive member of the MSP. So, right, that's the contrast to those people that look at this stuff as marketing channels.
Yeah.
And those that do it, they come in, and I'm not saying they can't be successful. They can. There's companies that are built on that. But the companies that come in from day one and really mean to be part of the community and serving the communities first, serving their companies second, as crazy as that sounds, especially for two CEOs like us, right? Like, we should 100% be focused on our companies. But you and I are very much, we're talking to this guy that was going to bed the other day, wanted to check on his fin trial, right? We were talking to Geek. And so, it's so important to be focused on the community, because in the end, it comes back to you. And you're not doing it because it comes back to you. You're doing it because it's a worthwhile thing to support MSPs, educate them, be there for them, connect them when they need to. As vendors, we get a nice eagle eye view of the entire landscape, right? Like, you have MSPs across the globe, same with me, so that when an MSP comes to me and says, I need somebody in West Virginia, I need somebody in Nevada, I need somebody in Australia. Yes, I realize states versus country, don't yell at me. But, when they come to me, chances are I either know somebody that's a partner of mine, or I know somebody in the community that I can connect them with. I just did that yesterday. I connected an MSP with one of my voice clients that didn't have an MSP, and I was like, here, have fun, get to know each other.
Yeah.
And so vendors that work that way grow, right? We've seen it. We've seen yourself. We've seen, I'm not going to call it any other names, but we've seen the vendors that do it. We've seen the vendors that started huge on community. There was a vendor that I started using in 2011, 2012, specifically because I said, if their support sucks, I at least know there's a giant community I can go ask questions on, and they'll give me the information. And that was a giant part of why I went with that software product. They also had amazing forums at the time and videos that focused a lot on education. So it was a win-win. Now, mind you, this is 2011. Nowadays, I'm sure JB's in the background. Yeah, we need videos. No kidding. Like all of us, we know these are table stakes, right?
Yeah.
Going back to our previous episode. But in 2011, that wasn't the norm. We didn't have people focused on YouTube channels and whatever, but this vendor had it. And then I'm specifically not calling out the name, but as years progressed, they exited. They weren't as involved as heavily in the community. Their forums had shut down or gone stagnant. They had one or two forays in the community, but it wasn't the hard press it used to. And their view in the community changed significantly. MSPs noticed it. And to not say that that's the end of the world, same vendor in the last 3 years has reinvigorated their focus on the community, and it has improved versus their competitors. And it shows you don't have to be the best, you don't have to be great, you just have to be in the conversation. So if you're in the conversation, listen, Connor, you're a friend. If I screw up something, you're more likely to have a conversation, be understanding with me, than if I was just a vendor or it was just a transactional relationship.
Well, the reality is I know so many of your employees that I just call them and complain about you, and then we end up talking together.
True story. And then I'm on one of my own live streams, and then suddenly the audio dubbing gets off for some reason, and it's
AI Ray takes over and starts saying embarrassing things.
Am I wearing pants? No. No, but those vendors that take advantage of the community, it's a big deal, and they reap the rewards.
Yeah.
And it definitely gives them better. I'm not going to pretend we've never had issues with my own companies. Of course we have. But when you have the conversation and you're transparent in those communities, don't just look at it as PR. But if I screwed up and it's something that affected you, as a friend, I'd come to you and say, "Look, Connor, I screwed up. I'm sorry. This is what happened." Give you a heads up. The vendors that do that in the communities are so much, besides that they're loved. They have so much better interaction, better client adoption, better spread across the MSP base, the 40, 50, 70,000 MSPs in the US, depending on who you ask. There's so much opportunity. You just need to be part of the conversation, become a friend.
Why do you think the MSP industry kind of, I'll use the term, evolved that way? Why is it kind of necessary that community is such a huge piece of the culture and the industry as a whole?
Because stereotypes are funny, and as per usual, it's half the conversation. So your mom or your uncle or whatever starts talking, you meet somebody at the bar and you say, "I'm in IT," and they picture some dude eating Cheetos flaming hot, drinking Code Red in a dark closet, maybe with a UV light,
maybe playing Warzone. Who knows?
Maybe playing Warzone. You know what I mean? But like at 3 a.m, that's the the epitome of the IT guy in the view of most people, right? You see this in Hollywood all the time, right? Some socially awkward person that doesn't know how to engage, doesn't know how to communicate. And while a good majority of MSPs and IT providers do identify as introverts, absolutely. The truth of the matter is, I think the MSP world has evolved to understand we can be alone, but also together. Right? Being in these communities, some people like in person. I go to conferences and we enjoy the hell out of them, but exactly how exhausting they can be sometimes.
Yeah.
And even though you're having fun, it's no different than going to the beach. You have a blast, and when you get home, you're exhausted. But some people like those in-person interactions. Some people like the online forum interactions, right? Tom Lawrence's forums, MSP Geeks forums, Reddit, Spiceworks. And then there's some that just like online real-time communication, right? The MSP Geeks, the MRUs, IT pool parties, Facebook groups. But the thing is, regardless, across this giant swath, MSPs value interacting with others so they don't feel alone. They just always don't. They don't always outwardly show that they don't want to be alone. But the truth of the matter is nobody wants to be alone. Even in my darkest days where I'm frustrated with everybody, like I need a bourbon, I still enjoy going home and knowing my wife's available. Like, should I go want to have a conversation? And community allows that. It makes your friends are there whenever you need. And I think that's been a huge benefit for MSPs, more so than many other communities I'm part of.
That makes a lot of sense. One thing that I've always thought is, if you look at the relationship that most MSPs have with their clients, right? How intimate of a relationship is that? So if you have a small business that is getting all of their IT, their infrastructure, their security services through one relationship, which is how MSPs typically work, you're essentially entrusting not only your current business, but your future business, your ability to grow, your ability to skip, your ability to not be a victim of a cyber attack, or to at least not have it end your business, is completely in the hands of this one provider. And that the seriousness with which that relationship has to be held is, I've always viewed that as, that's also how MSPs treat their vendors as a result. It's like, well, if this is how much my client trusts me, this is how much I need to trust the tools that I'm using to serve them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's absolutely true. The liability has gone up significantly for MSPs.
Yeah.
Where, because like you talked about in the previous episode, where maybe their password manager was breached. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and we're all saying
one.
you need to use nameless password manager. It's called FinPass. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, don't get my dev team all riled up like that. All right, they're gonna think we released them.
Super easy. Yeah.
Yeah, super easy.
Yeah, I can already see Josh chasing me now. So, but my thing is, we're the ones telling the vendors. This is the counterpoint to that other conversation we were having the last episode, where bringing these solutions down so they're table stakes. You wouldn't question if you're putting in antivirus. You wouldn't question if they're using email. These are just basal things. Well, so does security and awareness training. So is MFA. So are password managers. But to be able to do that where the client trusts you, of, hey, Connor, whatever you say, I'm going to use. I got you. You got my card. Let's do it. You have to, that requires an infinite amount of trust in the MSP, and the MSP better do their due diligence. And due diligence is hard with vendors. It's really hard because not everybody is transparent. Not everybody puts the stuff out there, will answer the questions when you ask, or understand where you're coming from. And even if they can't say yes to the question you're asking, they may be able to provide an alternate solution, or at least a reasoning why. Very few of the vendors do this, but here's a secret. The vendors that do that are usually in the community because they're already having the conversations. And the benefit of the community, you may have one MSP ask a question, say, does Fin do this? And the other MSP would have said, well, that's actually a good question. I actually wouldn't have thought of that, but I need that too. Get that value where, it's hard to do anywhere else.
Yeah, it is. Where do you see companies take their first misstep in regards to community? What's kind of a glaringly obvious, if somebody's listening to this, like, damn, I want to get involved in communities, don't want to do it incorrectly, what would be your thought?
So one of my favorite sayings, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. If you walk into a room, most of us, maybe you and me are the wrong examples for this, but most people would not walk in a room and just start talking, right? Yeah. Like most people would listen, take the temperature, see who's involved, see who's there, see who they recognize. They wouldn't just walk in and start talking. With online communities, it's very easy to just join a server. Hey guys, blah, 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 and start talking. I'm Mike from XYZ MSP vendor company, and you guys can use us to do this, and you can buy us right away and you get 2 free months. Homie, I don't want to hear your sales pitch if I don't even know your name. You know what I mean? If I've never met you before, like, let's establish a relationship, because anybody that understands sales knows you have to establish a relationship, right? Identify the client, get past the gatekeeper, determine the pain points, establish a rapport, to develop a solution, close the deal, go over objections, close the deal, blah, blah. We've all heard this in one of the 14 billion sales books. But you have to have the relationship. And if you're sitting there walking in just yelling your stuff, you're that guy that's spinning the cardboard on the street corner that's, spinning the sign. While it's cool to watch for a little bit, you're not going to get into a 2-hour conversation, right? And you're probably going to question it, unless it's some retail good. You're probably not going to buy a service from them, because that's the wrong avenue, right? That's cool, but it's the wrong avenue. Well, same thing here. If you just walk in and start talking, you're not going to be successful. If you walk in and listen, and then genuinely try to be part of the conversation, so it's not about you, it's about everybody, then you can succeed.
There's 2 things I've always thought is, to piggyback on your statement, people buy from people they like. And if somebody else, if the community likes a vendor, you're fighting an uphill battle if you're not also there, and if you're not also liked. So why would anyone look in your direction if they already like a bunch of people who do what you do? The answer is they're not. And the second thing is, the crux of marketing and growth and sales is I want to track everything. I want to know we spent $1 here. How many dollars did it come back with? And in my experience, it is impossible so far to track the value of your investment in community, whether that's you're having your employees or you're investing your time or you're investing resources like conferences. Now, conferences are way easier to track because it's like, all right, we met these people at the conference. How many ended up being clients in 90 days?
Tracking the Discord name versus the Reddit name versus the Facebook name. That gets complicated.
Versus the 7 burner accounts that they have. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, you should talk to Ashley Cooper about that one day. She's a tool called Orbit, and she's amazing at aggregating community data to use it for the betterment of the community. Definitely be worth having on an episode like this.
The real Ashley Cooper.
The real one.
Yeah. And that's where I see a lot of people. They're like, all right, how long is this going to take to ROI? Okay, well, first off, it's like it is very hard to figure out when this is going to ROI or if it ROIs. Second, there are nearly free ways to get involved with the community to start today. And what you don't want to hear is that it's going to take you a year. It's going to take you 2 years to make friends. Like, why does it take that long? Have you ever made a friend? Like, how long does it take you to have a great relationship with somebody?
Well, if it's like you and me, it was instant.
You had bourbon and I had a mouth and I could drink it. And that's how that worked.
Problem solved, 1 tequila, 2 tequila. No, it was, match made in heaven.
I've never heard that bedtime story. 1 tequila, 2 tequila.
The Orsini household's a little different than most.
Oh, got it.
But no, I agree with you 100%. I'm lost. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Well, on that note, we can pull ourselves out of this. So if you were listening today, community is not only incredibly important for MSPs, needs to be important for the vendors, if not for transparency, just to build relationships. If you're not there and well-liked, I guarantee somebody else is. And that's probably who they're going to end up trying to work with because people buy from people they like.
True story.
Sweet. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, Ray. I will absolutely have to have you back on. You're a blast to talk with. I don't care what Simon says about you. But I am Connor, the host of Gone Fishing, a CEO of FinSecurity. I was joined by Ray, co-founder, CEO of OIT, and the MSP Media Network. We'll see you around.
Later, guys.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Gone Fishing. If you want to find out more about high-quality security awareness training campaigns, how to launch them in ways that actually engage employees to change their habits, then check us out, FinSecurity, at finsec.io. That's PHINSEC.io. Or click all of the wonderful links in our show notes. Thanks for fishing with me today, and we'll see you next time.